Hello, and welcome to this short demonstration of PAR counting, periodic automated replenishment, also known as ward impressed, for RF Smart for Oracle Cloud supply chain. Typically used by healthcare companies, but could also be applicable to government departments and higher education. Pretty much anyone that needs to manage expense inventory. On the left-hand side here, you can see the RF Smart PAR console, and on the right-hand side, I am mirroring a handheld device that I'll be using to do the PAR counts. Not going to go into all these options in detail, but just generally, we allow the setup of different types of templates, which will dictate the items to be counted, and then locations based on templates, which will show more detail like the actual physical location of that location, as well as other information about activity on that count, etc. And then we can group those locations together in groups. So in this example, I'll be using the Cath Labs group to do a count. So switching over to the handheld device on the right-hand side, if I open the RF Smart PAR application, you'll see here it's asking me to log in. So if I log in by scanning my username, scanning my badge, and then I enter in my password into the password field, then it's going to let me into the application. It will also automatically sync as I log in to make sure I have the latest up-to-date information. And an important point here is that I could now go offline and continue to do these counts, and it would store the information on the device. And then when I was back in range, I could either manually synchronize it, or if I did any activity within the application, it would automatically submit the counts. So if I select my count group here with Cath Labs, and then I can select a location within that, and I can do that by pulling up this list to see a list of available locations. I can also scan a barcode. So most people would put a barcode on the door, right, of the actual location. So now it's pulled the location. You can see here it's Cath Lab 1, and it tells me the last time I counted it. And I have the option to hit the plus sign here, which will initiate a count on this particular location. And then you'll see there's a list here, but there's no items in it. So I can make this list show mandatory items. There's no mandatory items. If I switch it to all, then I'm going to see all the items that need to be counted. This particular count is set up for a single count mode. I tell it how many I have, it calculates the difference, and that's what it orders. So if I scan the barcode for that first item there of 1129, I enter in my quantity of 5. That's what I can see in front of me. It will order 15 in this. Let's say for that second item there, I don't have a barcode. I can actually just tap and hold the screen and enter in the quantity that I've counted. And let's say there's 0 of them there. So now if I submit this, it's going to order 15 of the sponges and 12 of the applicators. So if I go ahead and hit submit, it's going to submit that count. It takes me back to the group selection. So then I can jump back into my Cath Labs group and select the second location that I want to count, which would be Cath Lab 2. So this one is set up, as you can see there, it says 2-bin. So this is a different type of count. A 2-bin count is where you scan the bin itself to indicate that that bin is empty, and it orders the quantity that would typically be in that bin, being the PAR quantity. Now, a tip there is that many people will tell you they don't have room for 2 bins of the same item. So what we do is have 1 bin and have a card halfway through the bin. So in either case, it's either empty bins or it's cards. They get placed on a shelf. I arrive to count the location. I scan my barcode on the door and it opens up the location. I hit plus to start my count. I show all items just, so I can see exactly what's going on. If I scan one of those barcodes on the card or the bin, you can see there it just automatically ordered the PAR quantity of 20 for the sponges. I scan it a second time. Let's say we have got 2 bins for it and they're both empty and I want to order a double quantity, that's fine. However, if I scan it a third time, it's going to tell me, hey, you've set this up so I can only order up to 2 times the PAR quantity. So it's not going to allow me to order any more. That's a configurable setting, so you can set that any way that suits your company's process, but usually you want to put some sort of limit on it so someone can't accidentally scan the same barcode multiple times. So going to the other one, I'll just scan the PAR quantity once. So we're going to order 12 of the applicators and 40 of the sponges. And we did that simply by just grabbing cards off a shelf or grabbing bins off a shelf, scanning them to indicate the quantity and hitting the go button, and it's going to submit that count. So this application is designed to allow you to count in different ways to keep the efficiency of that materials handling person as high as possible. And typically they know what they're doing, they know what their job is, so they're going to be very fast at processing this kind of information, so you don't want to slow them down. The other point I'll make here about the RF Smart PAR console is that this information, these templates and these locations, you can see they are actually configured within RF Smart, but a lot of this information is being pulled across from Oracle Cloud. And as Oracle Cloud adds more of this PAR setup information to their solution, we will continually pull across to RF Smart and then add value. One other piece that adds value here is this activity dashboard. This will show me what's expected to happen, my scheduled activity for the day, which counts I was expecting to do, how complete they are, and how many hours I have till my next shift. I can see my scheduled shift counts. I can see the information here. If I count a location I wasn't expecting to be counted, it will appear in this unscheduled counts section there, and there's nothing left that needs to be counted. And if I wish to pull data across in the last shift, I can include last shift, so I can pull that across as well. And just in terms of setting up the schedules, it's very simple. I can come into my group here, and you can see that I can just specify the number of days of the week. And if I want to space it out, if I say there's 4 weeks involved, I can have scheduling across like a 4-week period. So thank you for listening to this video, and I hope the information has been useful for you today.